Okay, plumbers, let's talk marketing strategy because there's some fundamental understandings that I believe are constantly being skipped in the industry, and it's hurting you. It's causing a lot of problems later on down the road, and it's preventing some companies from growing in the first place. So pay close attention and learn up because at least I think it'll be interesting. Let's go. Okay, so many of you are missing some strategy when you are building out your company, when you are growing it from the first legs. And so what I wanted to do was give a bit of a brief rundown of ways that marketing works at its core, because what you're dealing with is human behavior, and human behavior, I don't care what platforms are out there, it doesn't change that much. I will dovetail and tell you what platforms to use and when though, so pay attention. Okay, so what you have before you is a marketing funnel. It's a triangle, it's upside down, and it's split into 3 sections. The top section is where you bring customers in. The bottom section is where you collect money from those customers. And they each have specific phases of messaging, because what you have to do is you have to realize you are a company that needs people to go on a journey with you. So let's talk about what each phase of this is. Okay, so the first step is awareness. And it's really simple. Do people know who you are and what you do? Because if you skip this and you skip the next step, basically you're asking people to marry you on the first date. And that is the worst kind of date. Just ask my wife. I spent a year before I asked her to marry me because I wanted to do it right with all this marketing funnel stuff. But awareness is very basic. Like, you need to be pushing yourself out into the world. Yes, you can do it with unpaid methods, but there's a big problem with that. And yes, you can do it with paid methods. I'm a fan because it sets you up for long-term success faster. So platforms that you may use in this awareness stage are Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google Display, newspapers, billboards, mailers, radio, television, anywhere that there are ear holes and eyeballs. That's basically where you want to be. I highly recommend dovetailing your efforts into, your core demographic and meeting them on those platforms, which is pretty much going to be online. It's going to be social media, and it's going to be ads utilizing digital ad networks. But so this is the stage where you're just trying to get people to know who you are and what you do. So also dovetail in community events. Don't forget about being a real thing in your neighborhood. A lot of people think digital is the only marketing they need to do. Will it get you part of the way? Yeah, but it's going to go way faster if you're a physical presence with a real personality. So what kind of campaigns would you run? Inside of the awareness phase, it's going to be things that build your credibility and tell your story. So you can be entertaining, you can be educating. Those both build credibility and value. And entertainment is value, but also testimonials, and then lift your Google reviews. When I say testimonials, I mean video testimonials. Get a customer at you, but also use this time to just tell people like, hi, this is what we do. This is the kind of company I'm trying to build, and I'd love to take you along this journey with me. Why don't we do some business together, right? It's just tell your story. Be you. Be fun. Be interesting. This is where you need to do that. And so what ends up happening is you capture people's attention. They know about you, and then they move into the second phase. And this is where you start getting into actions that you need them to take. Second phase of the funnel is called consideration. Consideration is where you are trying to do a little bit of a trade, right? They know of you. They're considering you. You're on the list. You're somewhere. And you want to use this phase to try and get to the top of their list. So that way, when they need you, they'll call you. Instead of hitting up Google, going to social media, asking their friends, anything like that. No, you're pre-positioned if you do this part right. So let's talk about platforms for this. Platforms for this might be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google Display. Those are kind of the main things. You want things that are going to be interactive, though, to some core. And if you're doing something that might not inherently be interactive, try and make it interactive. For instance, a lot of people will send out a mailer and it won't have anything on it to take value as a value trade, right? So here's what I recommend you. The kinds of things you run here are going to be offers, and it's going to be trades. You want to get their phone number, their name, their email address. And if you can, if it's not too much, get their address as well so you can verify that they're in your service area. But this might be first-time customer offers. This might be discounts. This might be waiving your diagnostic fee for a bit. Guides, like sending out guides, not super popular for plumbers, but it can be done. Letting them know you have a membership that gets them a deal, and email newsletter subscriptions, things like this, where you are going to get their information. That is the key here. And that means that you get to continue marketing to them, but also if they have something of tangible value, and this is especially true of coupons and offers, if they have that and they know that it's sitting in their email or it's sitting on the refrigerator, guess what happens? When they need Sun Plumber, they hit the next phase of the funnel, and it's your favorite part. I know this because all of you try and run to it at the start. So let's talk about the next one, conversion. Now, conversion can happen two ways, but ultimately with conversion, it means that they're going to contact you. And you got this whole sales process after, but let's just consider that they're calling you. And because of all the work that you did ahead of time, it's changed the dynamic. Now they've chosen you. You are the chosen plumber of many in your market because they have something of value to redeem at that moment. They woke up, something in their home's not working right. Who are they going to call? They can go to Google and they can get a list of plumbers with all the reviews and all the things, and you might be one of 10. Or if you've played your cards right up till this moment, you skip the line in their headspace. They don't go to Google, they go directly to you because they're sitting on something they can activate, and then you get to prove that your service is amazing. And that's how you win a customer for a long time. So this is not something that is done overnight. This takes some time in general, but to get them into that conversion phase, it's really sweet. When you've built it up properly, it works so much better. Now, platforms for conversion are usually going to be Google, like Google Business. It's going to be your website. It's going to be sometimes PPC if they're going to search your name, or if they are looking at a list of plumbers, maybe local service ads, Yelp, Thumbtack, things like that. But you have to remember all the work that you did before. Let's say it's a paid lead service like PPC, LSA, Yelp, Thumbtack, anything along those lines. If they're looking at a list of plumbers and you've done your job well with the marketing, they're coming to that. They recognize your name and they choose you for, and this is especially true on PPC, they choose you for $10 a click, $20 a click, instead of $60 to $80 a click, meaning you don't have to be number one. Instead, you're number 3, number 4. You know what? That's a great deal. But if you never put forth the effort at the beginning, you never get to this stage. And you hope they skip the lead gen way in the first place. You want them to call you directly. And the longer you're at this kind of a game, the more and more credibility and the more force you have into the market in order to be able to do this. So now, what I also find is that people forget about the back end, and I'm only going to touch on this for a little bit. The back end is a little hidden triangle called loyalty. So loyalty is where you've got the customer. Now what you want to do is you want to make sure that they stay yours. Every other plumbing company is out there trying to do the same thing you're doing. If they have used you before, you have so much sway. You're the incumbent in this political race of plumbers, basically. So you can lose it though. If you have a bad service call, like it could be that they didn't like the smell of your plumber. I don't know. If it was just okay service for whatever reason, you want to try and hammer them in and be like, hey, thank you. And this will keep people loyal for a long time. So things like thank you, postcards, emails, text messages, if you can, little gifts, especially if it's something like an install, why not, right? Send them a little cookie or something in the mail. This could also be membership upsells, which of course increase loyalty. Referral offers, review requests are part of this. And maintenance reminders and small things like, hey, here's what's going to happen in our community due to weather. We think that maybe if you have anything that you need help with, let us know and we'll get you on the schedule as soon as we can, right? It's just care. It's just nurturing those people so that way they stay in your court. That's the important thing here. Okay, so let's back out again. Take a look at the main funnel. We have awareness, consideration, conversion. These types of traffic are also known as cold, warm, and hot. And really, it starts with they don't know you, they know you, and now they need you or they want you. That's what we're trying to do with marketing. And you can do it on lots of different platforms, but a lot of people, like I said at the beginning, are skipping steps 1 and 2 and going straight to step 3. You know what? That's not really how marketing works, and it's not how humans work. And if you're trying to build a company that really stands the test of time, you've got to start doing these things. So if all of your efforts are going straight into immediate lead generation, you've got to start to dovetail some of your budgets usually off into brand building. But be mindful of what you need as a company. Also, be mindful of the fact that you might not have the budget to compete against every company in the market. So shrink your geography. So that way you're hammering people like we did in the old days of radio, where you are reaching somebody multiple times, high enough frequency in order to go from awareness to consideration and then finally conversion. And to give you a metric, when you're on digital platforms and you might have your budget spread out, so it can be a little bit tricky, but try and hit them anywhere from 8 to 15 times. If you can hit somebody over the head with your business every other day on social media where the impression is fleeting, all they got to do is swipe up and you're gone, well, then you're going to make some traction. But this can't be done overnight, like I said. This is a 3 to 6 month run at advertising. And that's always what we've said as marketers across the board. Some things work overnight, but very few do. And the biggest, most impactful things are things that need to cook. And that's what I'm talking about. Because this is building a relationship with your community so that way you can ask for marriage when the time is right, instead of doing it on the first date. So I hope this was helpful and you're getting something out of it. If so, share the video, like the video, put it on social, do everything you can to spread the word because it'll help me out, absolutely. Also, share it with your peers. If you find it useful and you know other plumbers, by all means, let them know about this. Now, if you want to find out more about me, you can go to tylerwilliams.net. You can find a link to my agency there. This is the kind of stuff that we do. If you want to book a consult with someone on my crew, there's a link to do that as well. And we can dive into your marketing in order to try and give you some direction. Of course, we'll tell you what we do, but we'll at least give you a path forward regardless. So you have a good one. Thanks for listening.